16, 1976. A day that changed the course of South Africa's road to democracy. A day where South Africa's youth gave their lives for liberty. This year marks the 40th anniversary of that humbling day. The city of Johannesburg, the province of Gauteng, and national government representatives gathered in Soweto this Youth Day to remember the fallen and celebrate the freedom that all citizens of South Africa now enjoy.
Many young people in our country don't always appreciate that. In fact, it is young people that have changed the course of the history of our country. It is young people that changed the ANC Youth League in the form of Nelson Mandela, Anthony Mbete, and Oliver Tambo. It is young people in the form of Steve Biko that made a contribution. It is young people in the form of Hastings Ndlovu that made a contribution. So young people always make a significant contribution to society, and would want to continue urging young people to contribute to the transformation of our society. And right now, the challenge is about ensuring that we acquire an education, that we acquire the skills that enable us to build our country and society.
The day began just after sunrise in Jabavu, where a plaque was unveiled to honor Dr. Melville Edelstein, a white South African who worked to uplift black youth and the disabled in Soweto for 18 years during apartheid. On June 16, 1976, Edelstein was killed by an angry mob who mistook him for a member of the apartheid regime.
I'm in awe of the person that my father was and is, and I feel his presence here with us today. And when I say I'm in awe, the awe is the operative word. A human being who got up every single morning, the only white man that I know in those days, in the apartheid years, who drove to Soweto, to the Morris Isaacson School, and served the youth of Soweto most of his entire, I would say, 18 years, I think it was.
Dr. Edelstein was a peace-loving person who dedicated his life serving the poor in the then dusty townships of South Africa. On that fateful morning, he greeted students as they passed his offices here at Mputi Street. However, once the shock of the apartheid police shooting spread throughout Soweto, high spirits turned into anger, leading to the death of Dr. Edelstein. Without doubt, Dr. Edelstein was a victim of a racist apartheid system which socialized people to impulsively judge and stereotypically judge people in accordance to the color of their skin.
Just around the corner in Orlando West, Tabete Street was renamed Hastings Ndlovu Street. Ndlovu, a scholar and lecturer, was shot dead, marking one of the first deaths of the youth uprising, along with Hector Peterson.
We sometimes sit back and we miss him so much, but when we look at what he has done, the fruits of his labor were not in vain.
We are proud to be part of this moment, to be part of a period where we can say, in reality, what Hastings and his comrades did in their generation has contributed to where we are today, and we are only able to celebrate their contribution to our country and to our society.
A little further on, a wreath-laying ceremony was held at the Hector Peterson Memorial. Peterson's dying body was photographed in an iconic image, shortly after being shot during the protests. These are just some of the many heroes that died that day, but they represent the enormous power of active citizenry amongst the youth of South Africa. The occasion also serves as a time to reflect on the progress being made in developing South Africa's youth on a local and national level.
It's more an inspirational trip rather than any other thing. You know, it's like when you are thirsty, you need water to revive your spirit. So when you come to areas like this, it just revive our spirits and channel us to our mission to say, why are we here? Why do we exist? Why do we occupy positions that we are occupying? Because if we are not inspired or persuaded by events like this to do good in our country, we have lost it. So I'm quite relieved that I came here, I'm part of this, I'm witnessing. But I can assure young people that where we are now, we are galloping to change things, to make things better for everyone, but in particular for our young people, because there's nothing outside education, you know. And those that are getting quality education, they must know they're fortunate and lucky that other people paid this price for them to get the kind of quality education that they have. Because some people think quality is not within their grasp, and it's within their grasp purely because some people paid heavy price for us to be where we are.
We also come together on a day like this, especially 40 years later, not only to remember those who died, not only to commemorate their lives, their contributions, their sacrifices, but to look at the state of our youth and chart the new way forward. So it's a very important day because youth, for every nation, young people are really the future. So what's taking place amongst the youth, the state of their mind, the things they are doing, whether they are hopeful or they are lost in despair, is an important indicator of the state of our nation. Most importantly, we need young people to be organized because every generation, as Frans Fanon would say, has to discover its own mission, fulfill or betray it. These young people of today have to define what their unique contribution to the transformation of our country and its development is. They are not. They have an important role to play. They are not, we can't just do things for the youth. They have to occupy a central place in everything we do, in the transformation of the economy, in social transformation as well, and in improving the quality of governance. Young people to have a role to play.
The struggles that they fought for education, the new government of the ANC is now responding positively to the student plight in our country. As you can see at universities, in 1999, we used to spend about 441 million rand for National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Today, it's more than 9.2 billion rand. Those students of 1976, they were even denied the right to decent quality education.
We are seeing a great uptake, specifically on the education level and the skills area. We are still a little bit concerned in relation to the uptake that we're seeing in relation to young people participating in the economy. From our side as the NYDA, the message that we are preaching to young people during this month, being Youth Month, is about advising them or reminding them that part of the struggle was about economic ownership of the South African economy, and we're saying that there are these initiatives that are in place. I spoke about just one of the initiatives that we're offering as the NYDA and that which we're offering with SEFA and IDC. There are many other development finance institutions. We would want to see 22 years into democracy, our young people changing their mindset and thinking about going to school, get good education, to use it to start entrepreneurship, be innovative and offer solutions that assist us to build a better country and also, offer us an opportunity to own the economy of our country.
Of course, government cannot develop South Africa's youth alone and have called on the private sector to play a greater role.
What we've seen is that the rate of participation by the private sector is quite low, and the other unfortunate thing is that where they play a role, they are mainly focusing on awareness campaigns. A lot of money is being spent on awareness campaigns by the private sector. We think that that money can be rechanneled into tangible, hard skills projects and programs that really and meaningfully changes the socio-economic conditions of young people in our country.
I certainly would like to continue challenging the private sector. And I think many businesses would say they are doing a lot. I say they are not doing enough. That lot that they say they are doing, given the scale of the problem, youth unemployment is completely out of hand, given the scale of the problem. We should say to the private sector, government is doing its part. Please do much more. Even with us in government, we are saying we can do much more. It's not enough. So I guess it's one of those things around which we need a social compact. We need common set of actions between a partnership between business, government, and also trade unions to give young people opportunities.
The main event of the day was held at Orlando Stadium, where thousands of youth socialized and celebrated. The awareness amongst the young people of the significance of this day was encouraging.
Today, what I remember, it's all about the June 16, the youth, what happened 1976, when our grandmothers and grandfathers fought for us and our freedom.
Youth of today, they understand the significance of today, but not all of them, because if you can see, we have a challenge as youth people, as youth these days, whereby youth people vandalize our schools, our libraries, with something which is better and which is very, very good, which can help us in terms of education.
I think we do take the opportunities that are given to us. However, you know that there are those hiccups that are there and there, you see. So it's unlike the youth of 1976 because they wanted a radical change. With us, you can see that we are trying a lot of things. Now we're involved in the hashtag Fees Must Fall. Those are our fights because our fights are not like those of 1976. Our fights are Nyaupe, our fights are school fees, our fight is corruption and all those things. So our struggle is not the same as theirs. So I think the opportunities that have been given to us, we do grab them. Hence there is a lot of number, there is a number of many young people who are now at tertiary institution. So it shows that young people are making a change out there.
I would like to give a message to our youth today to respect our property that government built for us. Even though you know that you are angry, don't vandalize schools, don't vandalize libraries. Let's respect our properties because those things are going to help us in future. Those things are going to help our kids. If they build a school today, it doesn't mean that the school has to be used by only you. You have to think for your children, you have to think for your grandchildren when you are no more in this world.
Every youth must know, even the next generations to come, they must know what June 16, 1976 means. We must not just celebrate it because it's just a day, 16 June, we wear uniform. We must know the meaning of it.